Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Delusional Daydreams podcast. I am your host, Ari Lou, and Bandit and I just finished up a super awesome long walk at our new favorite spot here in my hometown. We spent some time exploring some new trails out here and just letting him off leash to run in the fields. And just embrace the last sunny day that we are going to have for the next couple days. And it just felt so good to breathe some fresh air, hear the birds, see the views out here of the mountains covered in snow, and just embracing it all. Embracing the beauty of the world that surrounds me, even though the pain that I am currently experiencing from seeing my ex moving on so rapidly with another person, that still hurts. That pain has not gone away, and it has not diminished seemingly at all. I can definitely say that time is helping, but if I'm being completely honest, the amount of physical pain that I'm feeling day to day is still very apparent, and I can just feel it in my chest. I can feel it in my stomach. It just feels like my stomach is in knots and my chest is so tight that it's hard to take deep breaths, because I feel like when I breathe deeply, it's just like the floodgates open of the imagery just haunting me and having to face that this is my reality and this is what's happening, and I can't do anything about it other than just accept it and move through it. And that is really, really hard. But along with the flood of the haunting image of them together, I'm also getting more and more imagery and clarity on moments in our relationship that weren't so smooth sailing. The parts of our relationship that were rocky, and seeing so clearly in so many ways just how we were delusionally feeding into this quote unquote forever, because it was easier for us to be together than to be alone. And there were a lot of things that weren't working with us. And I feel like with the time of experiencing the pain of all of this, I'm also gaining the radical acceptance of all the things I was just turning a blind eye to for so many years. So many ways in which I was deceived and lied to. So many ways in which I wished that he would step up and meet me at where I felt like I deserved to be met, which always led me to disappointment and setting me up for failure, because I was simply expecting myself out of him. And no matter how many times he showed up in his truest form, I delusionally kept hoping that he would level up. And that's not fair to him, because it's not my job to change him. That's not my place. And it's also not fair to me, because then I'm just setting myself up for disappointment, constant disappointment, and settling for the disappointment, settling for less than what I deserve. But it's just crazy as I'm sitting here experiencing all of this. Almost exactly 4 full years of when our chapter started. I feel like there's this time portal of irony happening within my life right now, where everything I'm experiencing on this side of the breakup is everything I dished out to my last ex 4 years ago in transition to what Luke and I had for the last 4 years. It's like this boomerang of karmic debt and getting back what I put out into the world, and it hurting 10 times more than what it felt like dishing it out. Karma's a bitch. Karma's real. But it is opening up my eyes to who I was, why I made the choices I made, and opening up my empathy to how I've made other people feel in the past. Because I've also had this really deep realization that I am far beyond perfect. In fact, in all of my previous relationships, except for this one with Luke, I was a real piece of shit. I am openly admitting that. I was not a good partner. I don't need to go down the details of why or what made me not a great partner. I'm going to leave that up to the imagination. But I will openly admit that I was not a good person. I was acting out in fear, settling into the role of being victimized. Just really moving through this world with no intention and no regard for anybody but myself. It's not the best thing to have to sit here and admit, but I have no shame around it, because I've learned a lot, and I wouldn't be where I'm at today if I hadn't have been the person that I was leading up to now. But the irony in all of this, I see him moving on so quickly with no regard, seemingly no regard to me as an individual with feelings and someone that he says he cares about and that he loves so deeply. But him truly playing me like a fucking fiddle the last couple months that we were talking. And doing shady shit behind my back, because it's easier to hurt me and do wrong by me and show up as the person he never could with me, with someone new, on a new fresh slate. It's easier to take that path. It's easier to burn our bridge and start anew, and in a way make up for all the chaos and all the bullshit and all the ways he did wrong, than to live within his truth and face it head on, aka being real with me, simply communicating, not lying, and having awareness for how this might make you feel if you were experiencing this on the other end. And the reason I know it's easier to do that is because that's exactly what I did with him when we got together. I fucked over my previous ex when him and I had gotten together, disregarded his feelings, cut him off nonchalantly, moved right on to another one, even though I had openly admitted all I wanted was to focus on myself, regain my independence, and learn how to be comfortable in my own skin, learn how to feel grounded within being in my own company. That's all I was craving 4 years ago. But it was easier for me to distract myself with someone new than to feel what I needed to feel, to face the demons that I needed to face, and put the work into myself. It was easier for me to put the work into someone else and make up for all the ways in which I had been a shitty partner in the past and put all of that energy into someone new. Not to prove to my last ex that I was a good partner, but to prove to myself that I could be a good partner, that everything I had done in the past, all the things that I had done intentionally and willingly to create this identity for myself was not who I truly was. That I could show up in a better way. I wanted to prove that to myself, and I wanted to prove that to the world. But where I went wrong is I put all of that energy, instead of putting that energy into myself and becoming the person I was craving becoming, I put that energy into someone else, into someone new, because it's easier to put your energy into someone else than to look in the mirror and see the things that you need to work on. It is so much easier to distract yourself than to feel what you need to feel and to move through the pain, the growing pains of becoming who you're meant to become. So feeling what I'm feeling today just feels ironic. And it makes me feel like a bitch. And it makes me feel like I do deserve this. I do need to understand what it feels like to feel the shit that I have made other people feel. And I am so sorry. Because you never deserved that. No matter how much rocky shit we had, you never deserved that. Because I blatantly disregarded you because it was easier to do that. But yeah, it just feels like I am experiencing the karmic debt that I handed out. And I'm exactly where I'm meant to be right now, experiencing what I'm meant to be experiencing. And it's also like I can't be mad at what's going on right now. Right? Like I can't be mad at Luke for doing what he's doing because I understand him through and through. Looking at him is like looking at myself in the mirror 4 years ago. And I can't be mad at myself for making the decisions that I made. I feel bad for that girl for not having the confidence and the power to make decisions for herself. I don't know. It just hurts. All I can say is that it hurts. It's like the swells of waves. It's like I have the constant tightness in my body. I have no appetite. Literally no appetite. I have to force myself to eat food. And even when I eat food, it's just like there's no flavor to it. It's just, ugh. And anytime I get that haunting flash, it literally just feels like the most stinging pain straight to my nervous system. It's just like, oh, and it hurts. But I am very proud of myself for moving through this in a way that I've never had the capacity to move through it before. 4 years ago, I would have moved through this kind of pain by distracting myself either with a new person or distracting myself and taking this energy and fueling it to things like drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, things that would help numb my pain and distract me and make me forget about it and bury the shit rather than facing it. It would make me just go out and do things that at the end of the day aren't things that I want to do, but things that just distracted me from facing it. And this time around, I feel like with all these really dense emotions and the physical pain I'm feeling, I am choosing to move through them and quote unquote distract myself in a different way, taking this energy to fuel the things that I said I was going to do and live up to the things that I said I was going to do, follow through with the things I said I was going to do, and become the person I said I was going to become. And in this moment and in this transition and through this process, I am doing that through my intentional morning practice, my yoga, drinking lots of water, writing every single day, if not multiple times a day, getting out on long walks with Bandit, getting outside, putting technology away, breathing, looking around, playing with him, running around, embracing family time, family dinners, family game nights, and of course, getting my thoughts out, not only through journaling and writing, but on this podcast, taking my excess energy into editing and putting this project together, but taking all of this movable energy and really using it to become the person that I know I am capable of becoming. Because not only do I deserve this energy being put back into myself for the first time in my life, but I also want to be the person that someday, and I'm not doing this for him, I truly am doing this for me, but someday, when we do re-meet, like we said we were going to, I am going to be the person that I said I was going to become. I am going to transform into the person that I said I was going to become. Working on my sobriety, working on my projects, finding my passions, my hobbies, finding my soul family, building healthy practices for myself, taking care of myself through and motherfucking through, and becoming this invincible force, living in my most highest truth and authenticity, feeling so strong and centered in who I am, what I'm worth, what I'm deserving of, knowing how to set boundaries with people, things, environments. When you re-meet me, I will be the person that I said I am transforming into becoming. I will live up to the things that I say I am going to do. Will you? I guess it doesn't matter if you will or you will not. All that matters is that I do, because the only person I have the power in healing is myself. And all I can do is lead by example and move forward with more intention through every breakthrough of awareness that I come to have. And this too shall pass. Someday I will be able to look back on this and be like, thank God things happened the way they happened. Thank God things played out the way they played out. Because I know that this is such a pivotal part of my journey and my transformation, taking this energy and seriously fueling it into myself. So, I think that's all I have for today, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening. I hope you have a great rest of your day, week, month, and year. Eternal lifetime of experiences. Until next time, Ari Lou signing out. Peace punch, Captain Crunches. Okay, bye.